You know, Jesus came to earth to demonstrate what God was like. And he does this through a whole bunch of different ways. Some of the ways that he lived, the way he interacts with other people. He does it through explaining what God is like, through telling stories. He even does it through like little tiny things in the scripture that sometimes we don't notice. Like one of my favorite stories is in Luke's Gospel, chapter 17. And it says this, it says that on the way to Jerusalem, Jesus stops by the border place between Samaria and Galilee. Now, it sounds like a pretty straightforward sentence if you just read it like that. You're like, sure, why not stop by a border place on your way to Jerusalem? The thing is that the geography of Israel is a little different than that. I mean, the border place between Samaria and Galilee is out of the way, not on the way. So why would Luke say that? Why would the gospel read like that? And there's a whole bunch of different reasons, but here's one reason. God, by his very nature, Jesus, because of who he is, always goes out of his way to get in the way of the lost and the forgotten. See, God, by his very nature, and Jesus, because of who he is, always goes out of the way to get in the way of the lost and the forgotten. See, border places between Samaria and Galilee, they were set up as sort of a containment area for people who don't belong, people with infectious diseases. That's where he encounters the 10 lepers later on in the story. He's not like, oh no, there's lepers. He went intentionally out of his way to get in the way of leprosy. Why would he do that? Well, why he would do that is to demonstrate the character of God, to demonstrate the nature of God, to demonstrate what love looks like. See, love goes out of its way to get in the way of the lost and the forgotten. Jesus isn't taken by surprise. Jesus isn't even accidentally on his way somewhere. Where is he on his way in the scriptural text? Why would they even say that? Well, in Luke's gospel, it tells us this. Earlier on in chapter 4, it says that Jesus set his face towards Jerusalem. And in the Gospel of Luke, what it kind of says is that Jesus was on his way to the cross, which of course we understand to be the ultimate expression of God's love for the world. And so on your way to the ultimate expression of God's love for the world, you make time. You intentionally go out of your way to get in the way of the cross, to get in the way of love, to get in the way of sacrificial love, to get in the way of the lost and forgotten. So if you feel like your life is out of the way and you feel like you're stuck in a border place of your own making sometimes, or you just think you've been stuck even systemically by society in the spot where nobody wants to hear your problem, nobody wants to know your story, you better know that Jesus is on his way to get out of the way, to get in your way, to say you're included, you belong. I have healing for you. I have good news for you. I have salvation for you. I have instructions for you. You're part of the story.